Hi there, this is Jennifer. Welcome to Crafting in Carrollville. We are doing a suitcase makeover today. I've been promising this for a while. We started with that blue suitcase and also that bed tray. I'm just going to sort of marry the two without ever really securing them together because this might be a suitcase that I want to carry from room to room, and I don't necessarily need it to be stationary on the table. I can just rest it there. Anyway, so I am starting my project by painting just the big surfaces of the suitcase. I'm going to leave the trim blue. Ironically, my whole entire house was this color of blue when we moved in. Outside, the fireplace wall. I can't think of something that was not all the doors. I can't think of anything that wasn't this color of blue. It was awful. And I truly, truly don't love it. But in small doses, it turns out I really do. And mixed with the right contrast color, it makes all the difference. But for my contrasting color here, I'm using a very pale yellow. This paint is all-in-one heirloom chalk paint. I love, obviously, we all love chalk paint for the reasons we love it, but this really does have just a great buttery consistency. It also looks like butter. Anyway, it really is just the exact color of butter. Anyway, I'm just using one of my sash brushes to paint this surface. It takes a couple coats because obviously I'm trying to cover a darker color. So it does take two coats of the paint to get good coverage. This is going to be another water slide project. If y'all are intimidated by water slide, just keep watching. Believe me, it gets easier. Keep practicing, it gets easier. You're going to love it once you really get the hang of it. Anyway, so I'm doing this project for me. It's for my porch. Our porch was destroyed along with portions of our house during Hurricane Ian, and it's the very last room to get any attention. So I'm going to pop a picture up on the screen here in a second of what the porch looked like before we started renovations. And it's actually a very important room in our home because it's the area you walk through to get to our front door. It also is the area you walk through to access our garage. So it seems like, it's not just an afterthought to do our porch. But anyway, we had to wait for the insurance money to come through because they were actually saying that it wasn't part of our house. But I beg to differ. Anyway, I didn't beg to differ. I paid to differ. But anyway, here we are. I'm using water slide paper here. You can see my Tupperware of water there. I'm using lukewarm water. I'm soaking my images for about a minute, and then you're going to see it just slides. The carrier paper slides right out. I wipe the water out from under my image. I come back in with a paper towel usually and push all the water out. And basically, I'm just wanting to cover the edges of my suitcase. I'm leaving the middle open because I have something else I'm putting in there. And while I am going, before I finish it out completely with the water slide paper, I'm coming in with paint as I need to and just painting out those harsh edges. You saw that that was basically a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper when I put it on there. And now I'm coming in with my background's color, the same yellow, and I'm just feathering in all those edges and those sides. I want to retain some of that darkness that's in the background of the actual picture, but I want it to be sort of ombreed out where, there's like a vignette there. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm using at times my finger to blend the paint in. If I get it too thick, then I'm definitely going to use my finger to blend it out. and take it away, but you can see it's kind of just blending into the surface of the suitcase there. This allows me to um, choose any image I want. These graphics are from Creative Fabrica. They were actually junk journal pages, but I loved them, and I really couldn't find anything that I loved more on Creative Fabrica this time. I loved the combination of yellow and blue, and then there's some bronze in there, just some really warm tones that I really, really liked. So mixed with the cool tones of blue, it's a really interesting, beautiful combination. Anyway, so you can see I'm sort of filling in the edges as I go. I've printed out probably 4 or 5 sheets of these junk journal pages. If I preferred one side to the other, I cropped in the area that I wanted to actually use and made the images smaller, but then I could enlarge them bigger if that makes sense. Anyway, so I'm going around the entire perimeter of my suitcase, still adding images where I want them. You can see there I have scissors and several sheets of waterslide paper, and I'm going around the entire suitcase until I have it the way I like it. What you saw there was a mock-up of the lettering that I'm going to put on here. I always like to lay it out before I actually start doing the work. I want to see if I've got it right. Are my dimensions right? Am I going to hit anything important with my text? And you can see I've actually cut my words apart so that I can miss that flower. I don't want to stencil over that flower. Instead, I just cut my words apart. And for my stenciling color here, I'm actually using Spanish copper rub and buff. I'd never stenciled with rub and buff before, but I knew that I wanted that color, and I didn't mind if it was going to have that sheen as well. And also, I'm doing the hardware on this suitcase in Spanish copper rub and buff. So I just wanted to match the hardware, and I thought instead of mixing paints or anything else, it would just be easier to do it. And it was. I'm using a small stiff brush here, and I'm just pushing that rub and buff into the stencil, and you can see that it stencils perfectly. I wondered, listen, one of the reasons I think that it stencils perfectly is that paint obviously is runny, and the suitcase surface is not smooth. It's a textured surface. So I think actually I got a better outcome than I would have had I used paint. I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but I think it really worked out that way. Anyway, so, and I'm trying not to waste all my rub and buff. I'm trying just to focus on the letters so that I'm not getting it everywhere. And you can see I'm not gonna watch you make you watch me pull up the whole thing after I stencil it all on there, but you can see the parts that I do pull up perfectly. There's really no issues at all. So that had me pretty excited. The one thing I will say before you do this, if you do this, seal that water slide paper well with a few coats of Mod Podge acrylic sealer. So now you can see I'm coming in with that Spanish copper rub and buff, and I'm doing the hardware on my suitcase. I'm really in love with this product. I've always loved the gold and the silver, but this one is just so rich and so deep. I really, really, really like it. I've been using it. I've been like finding excuses to use it. And I've also been using that yellow a lot. My porch is kind of turning into this very cottagey French shabby chic type mashup of things. And I'm focusing on making things myself, finding things at the bins. And so just about everything I have on there right now is 100% from the bins. And I so want to do a thrift haul to show you everything I've gotten, and particularly for this room makeover. I am just not there right now. Like I've been having perpetual sinus problems, and I just don't feel like it. That's it. I just don't feel like having y'all look at me. That's not really it. But I will say this, and this is all I'm gonna say about this. But this suitcase came at a perfect time. This suitcase makeover because it allowed me to make something meaningful for myself. And I'll tell you what the meaning is for me. We just have some heavy burdens right now happening in our lives, in our not in our marriage, but it involves one of our children is all I'm going to say. But having a suitcase with this particular Bible verse on it reminds me that I don't have to carry my burdens alone. And every day when I look at this, I can remember that I can cast my burden on the Lord. And so he is a big, strong God, and he can bear this burden for me. So I feel like since this is the place that I like to come out when it's not like 112 degrees, I like to come out on the porch and drink my coffee. Um, I feel like it's a perfect place to have this reminder every day for myself. Anyway, so now here I am. I am lining my suitcase. Now, I've done a lot of suitcase makeovers, but I've never lined one with fabric. What I normally do is I decoupage. Um, but this time, I really just felt like I wanted to make myself something really special and take the time to do it because I don't know about y'all, but sometimes when I'm crafting for myself, oh, I'm like, just for me, I don't really care if I make it perfect or whatever. But you know what? I kind of care. So I'm going to make it nice because it's for me, for crying out loud. Why can't I make it nice? Anyway, I'm using this fabric that I got from the bins. I'd be hard pressed to tell you I got something from somewhere else because that's generally where I thrift. Where I thrift. Anyway, I'm just using hot glue to go around the edges there, and you may have seen a few frames back. I used the hot glue to create a hem on the fabric, so I just folded it under about 3/4 of an inch, and now you can see I've got that inside all glued down on the side. And as I go, I'm gonna cut. I'm trimming the bottom because I'm gonna create a bottom for my suitcase as well, so I don't need the fabric to cover the entire bottom. And even if I did, I wouldn't do it all in one piece. I would do it this way. I've never done this before. I didn't watch a video to see how other people did it. Actually, the videos on suitcase makeovers were kind of few and far between, so I don't think I could have found one that I much, you know, could learn anyway. So I just went ahead and did it my way, whatever my way is. So I go around the entire, all four sides that way with this fabric. I make a hem. I glue it all along the top edge. I come back. I glue it all around the bottom edge and then I trim it off. I did run into sort of an unexpected dilemma here. I forgot that I had to make cutout tabs for the hardware because this is where the inside and the outside latch together. But don't worry, I figured it out. I cut around those latches and then I trim those out with ribbon later. I'm pretty sure I show myself trimming things out with ribbon. Listen, this was like the never-ending project. So this video is only 22 minutes long, but it took significantly longer to actually do this project. And now because y'all know how musty suitcases can smell, this one actually wasn't that bad. I've had ones that were far worse. But I'm just gluing down some fabric softener sheets in there so that my suitcase will smell good. And now I've decided I'm going to put this hardboard on the bottom of my suitcase. I'm going to wrap it in the fabric that I'm using, and I'm going to use this as the bottom of my suitcase. But I want to paint it white first because if I wrap it around this dark wood, it's going to take, it's going to take some of the brightness out of the fabric, and I don't really want that. So I went ahead and just gave it a quick messy coat of paint, and now you can see I'm wrapping the fabric around that board. This board isn't necessary because of the way that I'm actually displaying the suitcase. It's going to be on that tray that I showed you at the beginning of the video. But if you were actually adding legs to your suitcase, and I've done this plenty of times, you would want a board in the bottom of your suitcase because you have to have something to screw your legs into, and these suitcases are mighty thin. So they're never going to be substantial enough to actually hold those legs on. So you would want to do this if you were doing a suitcase anyway. But I also feel like it gives a better finished look because you can actually wrap that board in your fabric and you're going to see it looks so good. The only thing I didn't do that I could have done was round the corners, but when I went to get this hardboard out of my stash, it literally like fit right in the suitcase. Like it was exactly the right size. And I'm like, that's the first thing that's gone right with this project. So I'm not going to do anything different than that. Because I'm going to tell you something. Now, if you know, you know. I decided I was going to put a Bible verse on this suitcase and I was going to put it up on YouTube so you can imagine how many things went wrong along the way. Because I just think that sometimes life works that way. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, no, I'm not wrong. I'm not apologizing for that. That's just the truth. Anyway, so you can see I'm kind of wrapping it like a present, or I'm doing it like you would do a, what's that called? A seat cushion. Y'all like my new glue gun holder there? I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep it like functioning there and remember to actually put my glue gun in it. When I was watching this video back, I laugh at myself hysterically because I'm crafting with one hand and I'm doing my thing, and then with the other hand, I'm cleaning everything up around me. I've made a giant mess, and I'm so embarrassed y'all are watching me that I'm cleaning up my mess behind me. So it's all your fault. I'm literally like cleaning as I go because I'm worried that y'all are watching me. Anyway, this is the other side of the suitcase. This is the actual top of the suitcase. I'm doing the same treatment, but I feel like you have a better vantage point this time around because I could get more of this shorter part of the suitcase into the frame. So that's why I'm showing you this. And I've done the same thing. I've just hot glued a hem into my fabric, and now I'm gluing it all around the top. I had to come back in with some yellow paint because I'd forgotten that I really needed to paint the edges of my material of my suitcase so that when I did this, they would be yellow and not blue. Anyway, I really love the way this project turned out. It's really one of my favorite things that I've made lately, and sometimes it's just nice to go out in your workshop and make something for yourself. I sell so many projects. I make projects for gifts. If you know me and I like you, then I've made you something. Oh, no, wait a minute. That's not to say if you know me and I don't like you, I haven't made you anything, or that I have people I don't like, because I don't like, I'm a people person. I've spent my whole life loving people in one way or another. So the people that I've probably disliked the most are myself. So anyway, I was gonna put the same fabric in the top of the suitcase, but then I I tried a couple different things. I tried the same fabric. I tried this, and that's just too, it's not warm enough. The colors aren't warm enough. So I decided on ticking stripe, and the reason I did that is because later in life I actually want to put a picture on that lid of the suitcase because sometimes I'm going to have it open with some things in it, like a candle and a plant and maybe a blanket, things like that. But I I'm not ready to do that yet. We're kind of on a time crunch now, like we're expecting company. So we really have to get our act together and get our porch done. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to get some things in there that I really love and that I can use for inspiration to really finish my porch. Best practice, I should have ironed this material before I used it. You can see it's been folded up, but I know that with the Florida humidity, those creases are going to fall right out. Like I said, this is going to be on it's a screened porch, and I am going to show you my entire porch soon as we go. As I get more done, I'll show you, and I'll show you some pretty terrible before pictures and what it's starting to look like now. Listen, we feel so much better about our house these days. It's been a long time coming. And just so you know, when I say, we all have burdens and problems in our lives, houses are the least of it. Houses, eventually we fix them. We do what we need to do. It's really the people that we care about. Anyway, here I am. I'm finishing off all my edges with ribbon. This is just a satin ribbon that I had in my stash. I tried not to go buy anything for this project because I really am making a concerted effort to make a beautiful living space on my porch without spending a lot of money. So it will take a while because, you don't just go out and find everything you need in one trip when you're thrifting for something. But that's okay. I have enough to say that it looks, comfortable and well put together, but we'll keep working on that. So I also want you to note that this whole project was put together with hot glue. I'm using the high temperature hot glue in my Sure. Okay, so this here is that tray that I bought to go under the suitcase. I bought them on the same thrift trip. Anyway, I'm just sanding the heck out of that for right now. I don't want that cherry color on there, but I also don't have time to refinish it. So I'm just sanding it for right now. As much of that as will show, I'm sanding off, and then later in life I'll come back in and paint that or finish sanding it or finish it off in some way. Anyway, our project here is about done. I'm going to show you the finished piece here. And I want y'all to comment, like, subscribe, share, do all the things that are going to help us be successful here on YouTube. We really need your help. We're so close to monetization. We need you to sit down on a Saturday. Don't even sit down. Just turn your TV on. Don't sit down. Like I hate that woman, but I'm going to play her videos anyway. Just please do that. That's fine. Okay. Thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.